Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Glaceon in Pokemon Unite. This character is busted. Watch the full video so you know what you're doing. Also, like, comment, subscribe, share with all your friends. Get the best Pokemon Unite content out there so people know what they're doing and the games are not as insufferable. Let's talk about the items on Glaceon. So, this Pokemon, fairly weak early, even at, like, your level 3 is just lost. Like, you're just going to have a lot of things stolen if you don't have a really good lane setup, so you take that in consideration. Your level 4 is decent, but you don't really come online until level 6, and then you need, like, your Unite move and then your upgrades and stuff. So everything's kind of early, and you do snowball really well, but you kind of have to take that in consideration as you play through the game. So, Buddy Barrier. Even with the nerf, I feel like this is like the one of the two you need to put on your team. That way you get that bonus shielding, you have the flat hit points, and you can comfortably ult and not immediately get blown up and have a lot of impact in the team fight. You have one of the best Unite moves in the game with your ability synergy. Like, you just sit in it and then you just throw out icicle spears and the game's kind of over. So Buddy Barrier, I think, makes that more reliable and makes it to where you can really command the fight. Choice specs versus special attack specs. So you can run both, but I also recommend having a focus band. Yeah, it looks like even after the Buddy Barrier nerfs, can't escape focus barrier, buddy band in certain situations. So choice specs is better until you get about 3 scores on the score specs, but again, weak early game. Scoring isn't guaranteed. Also, just side note about general gameplay. If you rush scoring, like right immediately after APOMs, you're bad at the game. It's awful gameplay. Don't do it. It's just throwing. You just lose out too much. Again, just different kind of gameplay right there. So it's not like, oh, I'm running specs, so I have to immediately score on the Glaceon. No, that's just going to get you losing the game. So choice specs going to be strong until that point. I recommend this for solo queue. If you're solo queuing, you are at the mercy of your laners as one of the weakest laners in the game. That's just bad. If you got a strong duo queue and you're playing with something like a Swinub, like a Cramorant, you and your homie have it locked down, then that's when you can get away with the score specs. Still kind of need to play it safe, just need to kind of safely secure to that level 4 into the Bs, get as many as you can, but then you turn the fight. Then you start scoring, and then you start carrying the game. As for the held item, there's not really much discussion, or not the held item, the battle item, no discussion. X speed, really the only viable choice. Like, eject button, you flash, and then they flash onto you, or they dash onto you with, like, speed and mobility creep, and then you're just dead. X speed, you can kite, and that's what this Pokemon is built to do. This Pokemon is built to have, like, perfect positioning, perfect kiting, and if you play perfectly, your reward is one-shotting the enemy Pokemon, and then one-shotting the next one, and snowballing a fight out of control. X attack is nasty amounts of damage, does also kind of like give you those earlier secures. Really, it's just about running circles around your opponent or running away from them once you lock on your Icicle Spear, and then making it very hard to play around with the X speed. Outside of that, nothing else gives as much value. The XP just lasts for so long. It's like, yeah, eject button, that's an immediate use. Doesn't really help you out too much. Full heal, that's an immediate use. Doesn't really help out too much. X speed, that is where it's at. Alright, so the moveset breakdown might initially be lazy, but it's going to make sense. Like, we really need to get hands-on with the Pokemon to explain what the abilities are doing, since it's just a wall of text. So, basic attack, boosted damage, basic attack, boosted damage, but gives you ice crystals as you evolve into the ice crystal mechanic. The ability, very good. When the Pokemon is affected by a hindrance, hindrance is negated, and the Pokemon becomes invincible for a short time. Now, it's a very short amount of time, but it is really nice to just be able to eat one hindrance. Make sure you have, like, your passive up before going in for a fat engage. You still take the damage, but at least, like, it lets you run away and it lets you kind of set up into the fight. Now let's talk about the abilities. Icy Wind, not viable. Freeze Dry, not viable. Not even going to go over them, not even discussing them in the video. Just seems completely worthless at this point. The way I can break it down is Icy Wind needs about 30% more damage, and 1 second reduced on the cooldown doesn't seem like enough, and 1.5 seconds sounds outrageous, but it really needs that, and Freeze Dry just is not good compared to the insanity that is Ice Shard, Icicle Spear. A lot of text. Really, all you need to know is that after the move is used, cooldown of Ice Shard or Freeze Dry is reduced, and all you really need to know about Ice Shard at this time is that you get it at level 6, Icicle Spear upgrades at level 10, and then Ice Shard upgrades at level 12, You have really strong, like every 2 levels, just kind of consider it that you get a power spike. Let's go into the practice area and let me show you what is going on with this Pokemon. Also, trying to get the most out of Eevee because it is a tricky Pokemon to use. So the interesting thing about Eevee is that you need to play very deliberate. You can't just go out like spamming auto attacks and just trying to lay down damage. If you mess up your combo, it can cost you. So it's going to be different from other Pokemon like Vulpix or just attackers in general. So what you want to do is you want to set up an empowered auto attack. Swift, use that on your empowered auto attack, and then by using Tail Whip, that gives you another empowered auto attack. So really, you're kind of putting as much burst damage out there. Now, yeah, like an auto attack and a Swift, and then another one, and kind of like inefficient, that's acceptable. But again, like if you're losing out on even slight amounts of damage for the burst because you have so little, I don't even know how to, like, yeah, you're just not that powerful in the early game. You don't have a lot of damage. Like, all right, Tail Whip, boom, 156. Empowered auto attack, 180. Swift with 1 auto attack, I don't know, it's a tiny amount of damage, even with the empowered auto attack. Your secure is terrible. So that's what I mean, like if you're mashing and you get off tempo with your auto attacks, it can mess up the stored icicles that you have. It can also just kind of mess up your Eevee laning, and that's a bad time. Level 4, not a crazy power spike, but it's kind of the same idea, that what you want to do is manage your ice crystals. So empowered auto attack, tail whip, empowered auto attack. Not a lot of damage right there, but then you unleash your stored icicle spears and it gets crazy. So you can have up to 6 icicle spears initially, that eventually grows to 8, and yeah, look at that. Like you're now starting to be threatening, cooldowns are making sense. If you're kiting, playing well, that's fine. Try to blow up the opponents, try to use this to secure. It's kind of hard when you have like a lot of hits consistently ticking like that to kind of beat it out. And now you're looking to be decent. Again, you don't hit your power spike until level 6, and now Ice Shard is where things get nuts. So, now we can explain the ability. Now, when you hit level 6, that gives you the ability to hold 8 Ice Crystals, and that is when the damage starts getting nutty, at least until you're level 8, and then you're level 10, and things are kind of crazy. So, Ice Shard. This is the trickiest thing to manage when it comes to Glaceon, because now that we're actually getting into the ice crystals, that blue bar, if that goes away, you lose all your ice crystals, and the only way of getting it back is by getting more ice crystals. So yeah, see, I'm attacking, it's still going down. Ice crystal refresh, same thing on the ice shard. Now when ice shard is active, every auto attack gives you 2 ice crystals, your passive gives you 2 ice crystals, so it's really about making sure you don't drop it. Showing up into a fight, boom, huge damage. Ice Shard cooldown is reduced with the Icicle Spear, so it's really about like just trying to always get the maximum amount of uptime. So Ice Shard for auto attacks gives it to you, but that doesn't happen until you scale. So at level 6, you actually don't have enough time to get all of those Ice Shards. Watch, I'm just going to dunk these right here. And while this might be a long-winded explanation, like I said, you gotta watch the whole video to understand the nuances of Pokemon, because you play it at the ceiling, and then it's absolutely wacky. So yeah, Ice Shard, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to have to earn your regular auto attacks. So it's kind of like a consideration. Use a boosted auto, use Ice Shard, do the 3 attacks, then you lay down the 8 Icicle Spears, and then just kind of rinse and repeat and keep that uptime. Now you do get a speed boost initially when using Ice Shard. Don't just throw that out there. Like, don't be like, oh, I see an enemy, engage in. Well, you're actually going to lose all the uptime of your Ice Shard by the time you catch up, and then you're not going to get as many empowered auto attacks. So using, like, you have to wait until the fight starts. Like, get your, like, as you're autoing them, that's when it's like, okay, now it's time to kind of set this up. Now it's time to get in there. Also, you need to use your XP timing perfectly as well. Then your Icicle Spear gets crazy. Let's go to level 8. Fun begins. So level 8, we have our Unite move. Unite move, while inside of it, you're just generating ice shards or ice crystals right there. And those keep refreshing while your Icicle Spear. Yeah. So, you're getting some fun stuff. Now, you do want to start off with as many Icicle Spears as you can get. Now, straight engaging into a fight, maybe you're not going to be able to get 8, and that's fine. Like, as long as you're going in with 6 and then hitting a target, you're just going to be putting an insane amount of damage into them, and it only gets crazier from there. So, let's go put a few more levels. Level 10. Move cooldowns. And yeah, so let's get all of this up. Boom, we have the maximum amount. And then we just dunk it in. It just lasts for a very long time. Alright, so now we can show off the level 12. This is where you can get your 4 auto attacks in and then unload a full Icicle Spear. Also, your Unite move just feels nuts at this point, and your cooldown reduction's coming online. Things are crazy. If you cast, like, you can cast multiple icicle spears as well inside of the Unite move, and just using an insane amount. I haven't counted it all, but that's kind of where the optimization of the Pokemon comes in. It's also worth noting that because Glaceon is a special attack attacker, you gain cooldown reduction at level 5, 9, and 13, so your power spikes are actually kind of crazy. Now, 5% cooldown reduction at level 5 isn't that insane, but you do kind of power spike on even numbers, so 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. You eventually just hit an absurd point in the game, and I'm going to try to show that through some gameplay. Now, the problem is, playing with randoms is very difficult to actually get like an ideal, proper game of Pokemon Unite. We all know this, we all experience it. So even though the game looks kind of scuffed, it's kind of like showing you the fundamentals of how you want to play through it, how you get through bad scenarios, how you capitalize on the good scenarios, and Glaceon is just insane. Alright, so let's show some Glaceon gameplay, really bring the guide together. So I recommend going top. Bot is too high risk, too high reward. You are too weak of a laner to get put into that role. Maybe there's some level 4 cheese, but I'd rather have a Sylveon down bot if we're playing it like that. So you want a really strong laner. Unfortunately, I have the Decidueye, who isn't a strong laner. I recommend having a character like Swinub. Like, you want to have the Swinub. Or a Cramorant. That way you just secure everything, and you try to get to your level 4 before bees, just in a pretty safe way. But, unfortunately, my Rowlet is demonstrating exactly how not to play. This is just general gameplay advice. If you ever try to score early for, score stacking, you're just bad at the game. What they're doing is better. You need to secure against the enemy, and then you end up scoring anyways, either by getting KOs, or by getting all those secures, and then you're putting your opponents behind. So yeah, the problem is, you are very lane dependent. If doing this in solo queue, you could just have a bad time. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it because the Swift is weak. I also didn't even get a chance to show off the Swift combo that much because I was just fighting for my life under tower. So you want to do an Empowered Auto, then Swift, then Tail Whip, then Swift. But hey, at least the jungle came. By the way, if you're a jungler, gank the Glaceon lane. You want to snowball this. Alright, he gets to level up, that's fine. We're going to just get some more Empowered Auto attacks, and we'll just do a little bit of damage. You really put power spike at level 6. Yeah, Tail Whip, Empowered Auto, that gives you more Icicle Spears, so you go Empowered Auto, Tail Whip. Like that. See, now we're kind of stacked up. I can get a steal with some chip damage in there. Okay, buff to Zoomerl, kind of strong. Decidueye does not want to help me. Oh, if I can just get the tag, he's dead. Level 6 is good. This is not the worst lane I've had so far. So yeah, if you actually play a coordinated lane like duos, or just a competent Cramorant, or Swinub, because the early game is just so nasty on those Pokemon. If you just get ahead, you will stay ahead on this character. I saw you go into the bush. I just didn't know how much he was gonna force that. Yeah, now this Pokemon starts getting nuts. We got the jungle support, and that actually super duper mattered. Who do I tag? Okay, ouchies. Yeah, we got a little overconfident right there because I blew the Ice Shard. So that's an application of things going wrong. Also, there was 4 people top, which is the exact opposite way you play the game. Everyone needs to be rotating Dreadnought always. If you use Ice Shard to get in too early, you're going to run out of Ice Shard cooldown, and you're not stacking Icicle Spear. So you can't just be too free with the Ice Shard. Oh, alright. And then you still need to play safe. Okay, we got in the sour spot. Oh, Jesus. Okay. He just got to do that. Zoomerl buffs. Yeah, you gotta be in range, but you also it's hard. But also high reward if you do it right, because you need to be in Ice Shard range to stack the autos. You also need to be kiting, and you also need to be timing everything perfectly. Dreadnought's not being contested. Weird stuff's been going on top for a while. And here we go. So yeah, now we do that. Now we try to get onto the Pikachu. Now we kite away with the Ice Shard. And now we still have a lot of stuff. So Empowered Auto makes sure we get the most damage out. And then we try to back it off. Oh, alright, Focus Band coming in clutch right there. We still stack some Ice Shards. So yeah, we get out of there. Level H is strong for us. And now we can show some fun stuff. If that comes into play, like, yeah. Everyone's kinda... I have all my utility as well if I play this right. So, stack off the Dreadnought. I guess drop the stacks anyways. Ooh, he wants in. So yeah, this is just the absolute collapsed game state of a random ranked match. Players in this game are just terrible. Oh, here we go. Alright, let's see if I can set this up kind of in an interesting spot. So I get the tag, I get my stacks, and I'm just kind of fighting from the outside with that tag. They disengage that, and I don't even know like where our Dragonite or where our Decidueye has been for the last 2 minutes. 3 minutes even. Oh, the invincibility almost clutching it. But yeah, this is like the longest the first Dreadnought has ever happened. I don't know why. So the thing is, like, you have very small windows, and that makes things complicated. Like, X speed, if you blow it too early, that's just bad. Ice Charge, if you blow it too early, that's just bad. So it really comes down to, like, perfecting all of that. And you are very team dependent. Like, even though this Pokemon's absolutely busted, you can't just straight 1v9. You need to, like, 2v5, 3v5. You got an ally out there supporting you. You get someone, like, tanking up. But if you go unnoticed in a fight, the game's over. So fighting against Glaceon is you gank it, you perma-gank it. Ooh. Also, apparently that's a niche interaction where if you have your invincibility, you just straight counter. Interesting. I think I just... I'm about to say I think I kill here, but nah. We got the interruption. Alright, interesting. Yeah. So, like, you need to hard focus the Pokemon before it takes off in a fight, and you need to support everything for Glaceon because it will just take over the game. But the game state's so ugly right now, I don't know what to say. We'll see how the Zapdos fight goes. Really just... What the hell? Alright, let's see what happens here. So that's what I mean, like, if you're using everything right and you're maintaining the uptime, very hard to solo. Pretty powerful dueling. But you have to do it perfectly. Alright, oh, wait, hold up. I didn't have all my Icicle Spears charged, because didn't do that great with managing the autos and the attacks between the best blink. Alright. Just gonna yoink that and get out. Oh, hello, wait a second. If he's coming up on me like that, we can just target the Pikachu, throw some damage out there. So like, yeah, once they're targeted, if they leave range, you're still fine. A lot of weird things, like, so if you're fighting against Glaceon, what you want to do is just always collapse in on it, because, like, once that Icicle Spear tags you, running away is just going to get you killed for, like, nothing. Alright. See, like, okay, he's dead. Or someone has to tank that and he's dead. This is spicy. It's a non-Zapdos fight, where I can unite, and I can just perma this dude. He's dead. No, he didn't, dang. He got back to his shield. We can just fight this. We 100% need to be fighting Zapdos, but if there's like 3-4 people that are just choosing to stay here, we should not, like, how has Zapdos not been taken? So, unfortunately, gotta rely on your team. Oh, hello. Oh, okay. By the way, if you're casting the ability, it won't work. Let's get out. Okay, okay. Wait, this could get ugly. There we go. Okay. At some point, you just turn on, like, you just come online. And then, that's your game. Your game is 100% kite, 100% X speed management, because that is absolutely what everyone should 100% be running. Yeah, I can't imagine anything else.
You win!
And then, you want Ice Shard management. And then, you just need to make sure you're trying to do 6 to 8 Icicle Spears every time on cooldown perfectly.